Sarah.
And it was in the lunch line
Sarah.
because that's normal. And she just sort of said duh. And then Bobby,
Josie, Josie.
well,
Where's your nose?
Bill and Catherine.
Where's your nose? Oh, your nose. Where's your nose?
The thing was, she actually did that every day, so it wasn't like a special thing. That was just the way it was. If any of you have spent time with us in the last
Oh, where's my nose?
and also I'm an actor, so when you
where's your
guys talk
nose?
about them having jobs that don't pay money,
Nose.
I'm jealous of that.
Hey, where's my nose? Josie, where's my nose?
From a
Good job.
Shout by the Isley Brothers. It runs 4.5 minutes, and I can only last about 45 seconds. So Shout was out. But I had a second choice, and the second choice goes back to actually something that Deb said. By the way, those of you who were there, didn't Deb give a great talk yesterday? I mean, why would anybody even need to get up and say anything after that? The kids tonight did a super job too, but and one thing Deb said was talking about the people that aren't here. And that includes my parents. My father died when Maggie was only 1 year old, so he really never even got to have a conversation with her that went much beyond and stuff like that. I know, yeah. He'd be really proud to be here. But anyhow, here's the thing that she doesn't know about my parents. My parents were big time into ballroom dancing. In fact, they were members of a little club that met once a month to go dance someplace, and they had their own records and their own sound system. It's called Gated 8. Some of the funniest stories that I know about my parents evolved from Gated 8, but I'm not going to get into that stuff. But my dad was a big fan of Fred Astaire, and I was too, so I thought, well, Fred Astaire, we'll get a Fred Astaire song. So I like Cole Porter, so I tried Night and Day. Night and Day is a kind of a cool song, but most of the people in the audience here are too young to know anything about Night and Day.
No, we know. We know.
And it also starts out with the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom, and I said, I can't stand out there when they say beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom. I'm not doing that. So Night and Day went away, so that wasn't going to be one of them. There were a bunch of other ones. There were some great Willie Nelson, some great really romantic songs that I would have liked to have danced with my daughter with, but a lot of them, they're a little too much about the romance between a man and a woman, and they get icky at some point when it's a father and a daughter. It may only be one line, but I just didn't want to go into the icky area, so I had to stay away from a lot of those. Okay, so my wife suggested the song from our youth called "The Way You Look Tonight." The Letterman did it. It's 1961. Great song. So I went online to find that, and I found that it's not just a great song. It's being done today by a guy named Michael Bublé, whoever the hell he is. But here's the great part. The great part is this song won the Academy Award in 1936 as the best song of the year, and it was sung in a movie by Fred Astaire. And Ginger Rogers, right. So I want you, when we're dancing out here, I want you to think about Fred and Ginger. Don't see me and Maggie stumbling around the floor. Think Fred and Ginger. And you know what? Fred was a great dancer. You know what Ginger said? Fred was a great dancer, but I had to do everything he did backwards in high heels. So think about that for Maggie, in a wedding dress that drags on the floor. So if we don't fall down, we'll do that. But anyhow, it's going to be one of the versions of. What do we got?
Letterman.
Letterman?
Letterman.
Letterman is a good version. It takes me back to my wild youth, which is a long time ago. But anyhow, so we'll do that one, okay? And yeah.
Just